Welcome to Ask an Innovator. Today is a really, really big deal. We've had many innovative guests on this show. Today's guest might be the most innovative, and Serena Dykstra comes kind of through the back door of innovation, if you will. An academic. Could you figure an academic could be innovative? Years and years of school, a little law degree that you may have acquired from a just a random school called Osgoode Hall at the University of Toronto. It's a really big deal. Serena is a woman in a man's world. Is that fair to say? Is the legal community a man's world? How do you fit into that?
Yeah, I think that that description is pretty accurate.
Yeah.
It can be a struggle, I think, sometimes to be a female and to have a male-dominated profession. But I think that you're seeing the progress already, and changes are being made, and you're seeing more females, more Indigenous females especially, which I'm pretty proud to be a part of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that we're still very male-dominated. I think that's an accurate...
We just dove right into the heavy stuff. Usually on the show, I start off with this question, Thunder Bay, glass half empty, glass half full. I've been so excited to get you on the show specifically due to the fact that we got some powerful stuff to talk about today.
We do.
Some really heavy stuff. We got some life-changing stuff to talk about today. Life-saving stuff to talk about today. Your law degree from Osgoode Hall is a big deal. How many lawyers in Thunder Bay have graduated from Osgoode Law Program?
I would have no idea,
yeah,
honestly.
Probably not a lot.
Yeah.
So let me ask the question in a different way. How many Indigenous female lawyers that are gay have graduated from Osgoode that are practicing in Thunder Bay?
That would be a difficult estimate to make as well, but I mean, not many probably.
Probably not too many. Yeah. So those are some bullet points. You asked me before the show, kind of off camera, and some of the best things that happen on this show are things that happen off camera. You asked me, and I'd like to share with the audience things that happen off camera. You kind of said to me, how am I an innovator?
I did.
You did?
I did.
Right. I'm going to explain how you're an innovator. If you don't know,
okay,
a lawyer, gay, female, and we're going to get in later into the show into one other aspect of your life that I think probably defines you more so than anything, but I'm going to save that for a little bit. Okay. How does it feel to be a lawyer?
Terrifying.
Is it? Yeah.
To be quite honest, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'm fairly new to the profession. I got licensed in January of this year, so I've been practicing for about 6 months, and every day I wake up and it's something new, some new problem that I have to tackle or figure out, but I have a lot of supports.
Sure you do.
Yeah, professionally and personally to help me navigate those challenges for sure.
What kind of law are you practicing now?
So I do criminal defense. I also practice family law, so support custody access, divorce and separation, as well as a small bit of child protection matters.
Amazing. Yeah. So a little piece of innovation is the process and the path that you took to graduate from Osgoode. I know I keep going on about that, but it is a big deal. It's one of the best law programs in the country. So
Thank you.
It is, and you graduated from Osgoode, and the path on how to get there. You're a young woman with a law degree from childhood to today. How did you acquire this? This is innovative. How did you get there? How did you do it?
Well,
where did the courage come from?
I don't know. I think it was just putting the next foot in front of the other a lot of times. I didn't know that this is where I was going to end up. I mean, I had toyed with the idea of law and of being a lawyer as young as maybe 12 years old, but my path in life took some detours, and I kind of lost that vision for a period of time and thought, well, maybe this isn't what I'm going to do. And I had a strong group of supporters that believed in me and said, no, if this was your vision, we're going to help you achieve that. And
wow.
And then, it was a matter of getting into an undergraduate degree and at least getting my feet wet at the university level, studying at that level. And then it just took off from there, and before I knew it, I mean, I still pinched myself sometimes,
I pinch myself too. I think you have one of the most fascinating stories of anybody I've ever met.
I appreciate that, thank you.
It's really. So are you book smart? I mean, there's a lot of academia that you've had to digest over the last 8 or 10 years of school.
Volumes and volumes of reading.
Just ridiculous amounts of ingesting and devouring
very much
volumes.
Yeah.
Are you naturally? I remember in school there was people that were really book smart.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means, but let's just book smart, air quotes, book smart.
Okay.
And then I'm not book smart.
Okay.
So I kind of resented those people in school. I was like,
I was.
You're book smart. You're that person.
Well,
yeah.
I was growing up,
Yeah.
for sure. Never had an issue with going to school, loved school. But then, through those detours in life, I actually was a high school dropout. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah. High school dropout. Thought I was never going to finish high school. Never dreamed that I would go back to university at all.
So I love the path. So high school dropout. Now, did you have to... And let's kind of connect the dots on this. Did you have to go back and finish high school?
Yeah.
So you went and finished high school?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went to the Lakehead Adult Education Center.
Okay, as a mature student?
Yes.
Okay. And then that kind of segued to university in Thunder Bay?
Yeah, so what happened is when I graduated, I got an academic award from Lakehead University, an entrance award. So I'm like, I guess I'm going to university, and went into an undergraduate program there, and then just sort of, it just took off. Yeah.
And then now the transition from Lakehead to University of Toronto, Osgoode.
Osgoode. It's
Osgoode,
it's actually at York.
At York, right, Osgoode, right, excuse me. So how, and you, that transition from Lakehead to Osgoode?
Yeah, well, even when I was at the point of feeling like maybe I was ready to apply to law schools, I was applying across the province, wasn't really getting too many responses back. And then I kind of was panicking, and I thought, I need a plan B. Maybe I'm not destined to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
So I applied to the MBA program at Lakehead. They have a 1-year MBA program. And I got into both at the same time. And then I thought, well, an MBA is probably a good degree to have on top of all this. So I deferred my admission to Osgoode, even though I had they were the school that admitted me, and I deferred it to do my MBA.
Wait a minute. You have an MBA as well?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and I think it was good because it was, I hadn't really had experience studying at the graduate level, and I was nervous because I have a self-confidence issue, right? I mean, all these other people, all my supports, they've always believed in me, and they're always like, you're smart, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, really? I mean, even when you describe me as an innovator, I'm dumbfounded because I don't know. I'm just this humble little me, right? So
Sure.
I just...
Humble. Powerful word.
So I thought, okay, well, it's good probably to get practice. So I did my MBA.
You did your MBA?
I did my
okay.
MBA,
yeah. Of course you did.
Yeah.
I didn't know, I had to come onto this show to find that out about you. You just became more interesting.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So MBA and then to law school.
Yeah, and then I went to Toronto at the York University at Osgoode, and 3 years there.
3 years to get your law degree, and that seems short. Is that fair? Or did your MBA help you kind of?
Well, the requirement is that you have 2 years at least minimum of undergraduate, but most people do at least a degree prior to admission. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. Your support network. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your support network. We're going to dive into that in the second segment coming back. Serena Dykstra, MBA, lawyer, and we're going to get into some really cool stuff next. Stay right with us with Ask an Innovator. Welcome back to Ask an Innovator. Here we go, lawyer, and I just found out, MBA, Serena Dykstra, there is innovation on every turn. Your support network. So you have all these degrees. You have an MBA, you have a law degree. You're working as a criminal lawyer and in family law. right now. In the first segment, you said one word probably more than any other word, and it was support. You have a support network. One of my favorite sayings is that you're the average of the 5 or 10 people you spend the most time with.
That makes a lot of sense.
Do you spend a lot of time with your support network, and how heavily do you rely on your support network?
Well, I've always had supports. I think that I've always had what I like to call cheerleaders in my life.
Yeah.
You know, when I would have self-doubt and these feelings of I can't do this. My life's falling apart, and it has felt like it was falling apart at various stages of my life. But I always had people that rallied around me, believed in me when I couldn't, and gave me that strength to find a way through those challenges. And yeah, it's still important today, absolutely.
I love it. And now, with your support network, did you find them, or did they find you? Is this
a little of both?
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Is this a divine thing?
Yeah.
Was God involved in this, possibly?
Yeah, a higher power of some sort.
Yeah.
I think that divine intervention, yeah, for sure. I definitely believe sometimes that the universe works in funny ways.
That's absolutely amazing.
And people have been put in my life that have been there for years. Some people very recently that I've just met, but have become integral to my recovery and support community. You know, that's and they're definitely my lifeline when I need them.
I made a couple little bullet points here. We talked about you being a lawyer. We talked about you being a female lawyer, which is fascinating. And are there more female lawyers in Canada or in Thunder Bay? Is it on the upswing? Do you know anything about kind of demographics?
I wouldn't know anything about statistics, but
Yeah.
I know that I think that it's always been, as I said before, male dominated. I think you're starting to see more females in the profession, but there's definite challenges to that.
Is there an organization, or is there any merit, or is there any logic behind having a female law consortium or organization, or does it exist already, or would there be any benefit to that?
Yeah, there are organizations that exist both in the province and Canada-wide that provide support to women in the profession and advocate for women in the profession, and they do exist. Yeah.
They do exist. Yeah. And do you believe in them? Do you subscribe to that? And what benefit would that?
Yeah,
be?
I haven't personally had the benefit of having much involvement as of yet. I mean, right now I'm just trying to get my feet wet and sort of get through the day, right? But
get your feet wet.
But I've had support in terms of female lawyers reaching out to me, and even that support is providing me their number, saying let's grab a coffee if you need to chat, and I have the support locally that's definitely helpful.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Just by me bringing up the idea of being a female lawyer, is that even relevant?
Should it be?
Should it be relevant?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
So is it almost silly that that's even a question? And should it be even
in today's
a question?
day and age? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
You think so? So it's just lawyer. It's not that female, male.
Should there be the divide? No, I don't think so.
So I think I'll just in future avoid those questions and just kind of talk about lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to acknowledge that there's still a struggle and that we're still trying to challenge that demographic every day. And but I think the ultimate goal would be to, does it matter?
Yeah. Well, I just think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
So by the way, Happy Pride, which happened just
it's happening this week.
Yeah. Right? So we were in the middle of Pride Week.
I would encourage anybody to check out the Thunder Pride Facebook page. There's tons of events happening this week, still yet to come. A giant block party and parade on the weekend for sure. Yeah, it's going to be quite exciting.
And you're a active member, the LGBTQ. I could go with another acronym, I think.
There's
but
a lot of letters.
I think I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, because I could keep going now.
You could.
It seems like every year there's an extra letter put onto it.
Yeah. But it's I'm definitely I'm not on any committees as of right now, but definitely an active member of the community. And,
And now Thunder Pride, are we growing in terms of popularity, or people?
Absolutely.
Are people coming out?
Absolutely,
Right?
yeah. Well, and just not even just the people who identify with one of those acronyms, but also our ally and supports in the community. That community is definitely growing in its support, and yeah, the number of people that have attended the events this year is incredible.
One of the things that we love to talk about is this company, Shaw, years ago had something that, for its time, I think was super progressive. Something called Thunder Gay magazine. Do you remember this?
I don't
at all.
No.
So it was a talk show like this is about the essentially the gay community, queer community in Thunder Bay, and this was 20 years ago plus. Talk about progressive. Thunder Bay 20 years ago is not Thunder Bay today.
I didn't live in Thunder Bay 20 years ago, so
it's actually very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And I've been encouraging some people to kind of bring it back, because I think it would be super relevant to have a gay/queer talk show.
Yeah, that would be a fantastic idea.
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lawyer, you're a gay lawyer, queer lawyer.
Yeah.
Is there a target market from a business perspective? Is this leverageable from a business perspective? Are you more relatable, say, to that community, or is that community willing to, say, retain you to act on their behalf?
I think it definitely is a benefit, to the kind of advocacy that I provide and the kind of compassion that I bring to my work. Absolutely. I haven't, as of yet, knowingly been retained by somebody from that community. I mean, it's not a question that I really ask, but if it were to come up and if it was relevant, then absolutely, I think it's something that I could leverage. Yeah.
I read a book not too long ago called Culture Code, and they in the book they go to define culture. Culture is defined in the book, essentially, to summarize it, as safety. Is there safety in community? Is there safety in niche communities?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that, as minority groups, and, we've talked about being female, we've talked about the LGBT community.
Yeah.
And those are historically marginalized and still happening, right? And I think that when you have that community and that safe space, so many people are still being discriminated against or aren't safe to come out even in their own homes. So to find a place and to find their people that they can truly be themselves, absolutely.
And your courage to come onto this show and just have such a candid conversation about some of these issues, these macro or micro issues as we render them down, is just totally remarkable. I mean, I am super inspired, and then therefore this is innovation. Your courage and your vulnerability right now is innovation.
Why, thank you.
Yeah. Let's talk about being Indigenous.
Okay.
Right. So let's take it to a whole other level right now.
Yeah. Another
niche,
group.
another marginalized group. I mean, we're talking. We're kind of layers here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so being Indigenous as a lawyer, it's kind of same question. Do you have, from a business perspective, because we do on the show like to kind of focus on the business aspect of it, are clients driven to you because of your Indigenous roots?
I have seen that more and more, yes. I mean, I'm fairly new. People in the community and on the lists that I provide my contact information to, they might not know who I am, but I do find that when I'm even walking in the community, and if people find out that I'm a lawyer, and a lot of times it's coming from those marginalized groups because of the support network that I have is often in those groups. So I do get a lot of clientele, and I think it is when we talk about safety, it's that they feel safe, that they can truly tell me their story and know that not only am I going to be compassionate, but that I actually understand. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Serena just said a powerful word, story. We're going to get into our stories a little bit in the last segment. The best is yet to come, guys. Stay with it. Ask an Innovator. Serena Dykstra, innovating right here. Let's do it. Welcome back to AAI. I have always been encouraging vulnerability on this show. I'm a firm believer that vulnerability is the new ego. The person who can be the most vulnerable is the person who can be the most trusted and therefore the most influential. Serena and I are going to dive into right now the idea of recovery. We are both in recovery.
We are.
We are kindered by recovery. Is recovery the most important thing in your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say that's a fair estimate, yeah.
So we talked about some micro niches. So here you are, a lawyer with an MBA,
Yeah.
queer, female, which I think we determined already really is not here nor there at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Indigenous, recovery,
Yeah.
the R word.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really breaking it down right now.
We are, yeah.
This is really interesting. Should recovery be brought from the dark into the light?
I think so.
And just by us sitting here talking about right now, what is your goal in talking about, say, recovery?
Yeah, well, I think I'll give you some background.
Sure.
My friend in recovery writes this blog. It's been on CBC. And she asked me to share my story. And at the time, there wasn't a lot of media coverage on it. And I said, sure, no problem. And then I had some moments of nervousness after I shared that and after it started getting published on CBC.
It went viral.
Yeah, and it started getting all these shares on Facebook. And I had to ask myself, am I ready for this? Because I haven't really before had my recovery life, my personal life, blend so much with my professional life. And was I ready for that? And to be honest, I still don't know if I'm ready for that.
Right.
But I do believe that why I did it was to challenge that stigma.
Yeah.
I think when you asked me earlier about glass half full, glass half empty, we didn't really get into that, but I think that it depends on who you ask. And there is, unfortunately, so much negativity when it comes to addiction in this city. You watch the comments on Facebook, on the news articles that get posted, the overdoses that we're seeing on a daily basis. And it's really sad, but there's no
an epidemic.
And there's no compassion in the response to
No,
it,
there's not.
from the community that I'm seeing. And it breaks my heart, and so I think my idea or my goal in sharing my story so publicly and saying, yes, I'm this lawyer and I'm in this professional community, but I'm also an addict and I have the disease of addiction, and to come out and say that. And that I have to practice recovery on a daily basis. It challenges that stigma, absolutely. And that was my goal. And if that's if it opens some people's minds and shifts their thinking, I think we have to stop thinking of this addict as somebody on the street and homeless. I mean, that was me at one point, but that it could be somebody with a suit on, somebody who looks put together. Absolutely.
Innovation, we talk a lot about innovation. Obviously, the show is called Ask An Innovator. And again, I'll get back to what you asked me before we went on air, which was, Cole, how am I innovative?
Yes.
If this is not innovation, if courage is not innovation in this day and age, the courage to come out and speak to all of the peel back the layers of you as a person, starting with lawyer and then rendering it down to being in recovery. If this is not innovation, I don't know what is. This is about as powerful as it gets. Your why, coming out for you, is something you've done before.
Yes, in multiple contexts.
In multiple contexts.
Yes.
Now coming out, is this to some degree with the CBC article and now here today, is this kind of coming out again of sorts?
Yeah, I like that parallel that you drew there. Yeah, I mean, and I had nerves every time I've come out. Whether it be about my sexuality, my addiction, anything that was going on. I've had multiple reveals in my life.
Yeah, that's multiple reveals.
Yeah.
And I am completely honored and humbled. We met through a business.
Yes.
And then we were kindered through recovery in a lot of ways. And it was interesting when we met, and I met Brenda, your wife, your spouse.
Yes.
We kind of looked at each other, and it was almost like we had a secret kind of look or a handshake in the room. When you're in a room with people that have sustained and strong, powerful recovery, is there a layer of trust that and natural empathy and culture and safety? Yeah.
And again, going back to that theme of safety, like I think that the world is scary out there. Thunder Bay is scary for any marginalized group and anybody that struggles with addiction. And it's scary to stand up and if you need help, where to turn, and if you're in a profession, to be able to stand up and say, I need to get some help. The fear is strong. So being able to know that there is somebody in that community that truly gets it, truly, and there will be no judgment, because I have walked that path.
Yeah. You've seen the darkness.
Yeah, I've been in it. Yes. Yeah.
And you've seen the light.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself to be, for lack of a better way to put it, a better person because of the darkness, because you've seen the darkness?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it informs my professional life, it informs my personal life so much.
Yeah. And as a professional and as a lawyer, as a criminal lawyer and a family lawyer, that darkness, does it create empathy? Does it create relatability?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tolerance?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is it a gift?
I think so. Maybe a curse too. Because I've been told even by some of my colleagues, that why are you doing this for this person? They're suffering and they can't get it together to serve simple court documents, and I will chase that person down because I know they're struggling, and I know that they're in an addiction and they just don't know where to turn, and they're afraid to say that out loud.
Sure.
But to meet them eye to eye and just to say, like, I'm one of you. I get you.
Right.
And it's okay, and we're going to do this together. I think that's what true advocacy is.
Yeah. I hear the word advocacy. I hear the word service in there, filtering our lives through service. Would you consider coming out today and being vulnerable about your recovery? Is this service?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It challenges that stigma that, I don't know, it's not about saying, look at me, look at all these things.
Yeah, it is. Sure it is.
For me, that's not why I'm here. It's I know that, the dominant idea of what an addict looks like does not look like this. Right?
It doesn't look with an MBA or a law degree from Osgoode and a practicing lawyer. It does not look like that.
No.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Best episode ever of Ask an Innovator. Thank you so much. That was mind-blowing. I have 30 seconds to somehow wrap that all up.
Okay.
And I'm really not sure how I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Other than just to say, thank you. Thank you for my sobriety. And thank you for encouraging everybody else in our community to be the best person that they can be. And I guess anything is possible, right?
Thank you for inviting me. I'm truly humbled by it.
Ask an Innovator, best show ever. See you next week.